The words hit her ears like a thunderclap. Die now. Soldier, rage flashing in his eyes, lunged toward her with a ferocity that would have frozen anyone else. Her pulse quickened, every instinct screaming danger. Behind her, the crowd froze, some gasping, others too stunned to move. In that heartbeat, she felt the raw weight of mortality press against her chest, but experience whispered back, calm and unyielding. She thought she might not make it through this encounter. She was wrong. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from. I love knowing who's listening. She had been a Navy SEAL for 25 years, a lifetime of training, discipline, and missions that tested every boundary of fear and endurance. Yet here, in a crowded street, under the judgmental gaze of strangers, she faced a test unlike any she had encountered overseas. Not strategy, not reconnaissance, not stealth, just raw, unfiltered aggression aimed directly at her. The air was thick, the scent of dust and asphalt heavy in the late afternoon sun. She could hear the soldiers' ragged breathing, the subtle shuffling of the crowd, the quiet whispers of those realizing the confrontation was real. Her hands twitched, not in fear, but in anticipation, muscles recalling years of drills, precision movements, and split-second decisions where hesitation meant failure. Her mind cataloged every possibility. Could she defuse this without bloodshed? Could she maintain control in a moment when survival instincts screamed for dominance? Every fiber of her body remembered pain, adrenaline, and triumph, but every human part of her felt the weight of moral responsibility. Violence was a tool, but she chose her moments carefully. The soldier advanced, underestimating her entirely. Rage and ignorance blinded him to the fact that the woman before him was a veteran of missions that few could even imagine. He swung wildly, his strike fueled by fear, frustration, and misplaced bravado. She moved with a grace that belied her experience, sidestepping, redirecting, and using his momentum against him in a fluid motion that left him off balance. The crowd gasped collectively, the sudden movement turning whispers into murmurs of awe. Her eyes, steady and unyielding, met his. In that gaze was a calm certainty, a presence that carried authority without a word. Every muscle was taut, ready to respond, yet her actions reflected restraint and precision, not uncontrolled anger. She saw not just an opponent, but the human behind the aggression, a fleeting moral reflection that reminded her of the balance every soldier must navigate. The Marine recovered, lunging again with blind fury. She pivoted, a controlled spin that placed him off-center, redirecting his attack into the pavement. Dust rose, motes catching the sunlight, floating in the tense silence of onlookers. A child clutched her mother's hand nearby. An elderly man shook his head, awed. Every bystander felt the weight of the moment. A single miscalculation could have escalated into tragedy. But skill, not brute force, dominated. For a split second, she allowed herself to feel the adrenaline's warmth, not for triumph, but for clarity. She had been here before in deserts, aboard ships, in covert operations where stakes were life itself. Her body remembered reflexes honed over decades, decisions made under pressure that demanded precision and empathy in equal measure. Here she wielded that legacy silently, invisibly, teaching a lesson without shouting, without malice. The soldier paused, confusion flickering in his eyes as he realized the depth of misjudgment. The woman he had tried to intimidate was Zanti, ordinary she, was a veteran who had commanded elite teams, survived impossible missions, and maintained composure in chaos that would shatter most. Around them, whispers grew. Some onlookers murmured respect. Others simply stared, unable to comprehend the quiet authority on display. She reached forward, not to strike, but to redirect, neutralize, and control. Every movement precise, economical, lethal if necessary, yet tempered by judgment. The soldier stumbled backward, breathing heavy, his arrogance replaced by understanding. The crowd, previously tense, began to exhale collectively, the air shifting from fear to relief. Her eyes softened briefly, reflecting a lifetime of choices, victories, and losses. She could have ended it brutally. She could have taught the Marine a lesson he wouldn't forget. Instead, she chose restraint, demonstrating a principle drilled into every SEAL. Power is not in violence alone, but in knowing when and how to use it. The Marine stepped aside, defeated not by force alone, but by presence, authority, and experience. Around them, the street resumed its ordinary rhythm. Children returned to play, neighbors whispered to each other, and sunlight glinted off the asphalt, painting everything with a calm after the storm. She straightened her uniform, her calm demeanor a final punctuation mark on the confrontation. Because courage is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it is the invisible strength that commands respect without demanding it. And sometimes it is simply the resolve to protect oneself and others with integrity, even in moments of chaos. She walked away, the weight of experience grounding every step. Observers followed her with lingering glances, some nodding, some shaken, all touched by the demonstration of controlled authority, life of service, a legacy of resilience, and the silent courage of a veteran had once again spoken without words. Because experience doesn't shout, it shows. Because courage doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. If this story inspired you, leave a comment about a time someone showed quiet strength when it mattered most. Don't forget to subscribe to Whispered Words for more real-life tales of courage, resilience, and the extraordinary hidden in everyday moments.